good, bro. The two key players for me to keep this from being an upset game, I would have to say is they are going to have to let Jahmyr Gibbs off the leash, and they need another big game from Amon-Ra St. Brown. He gonna have to move the chains for them, and Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna have to he gonna have to be that lightning in the bottle, man. Because I mean, no matter how old he is, bro, you still going against Aaron Donald, and David Montgomery is more of an inside run, inside zone type of back, and Aaron Donald not going for that, bro. He taking on triple teams, so them linebackers finna have free flow into them gaps. So it's gonna take Jahmyr Gibbs taking them boys to the edge and getting them out in the open field and making some guys miss. And then it's going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown to keep them all balanced. They're going to have to run a lot off the play action. He's going to have to attack the middle of the field. You're going to have to attack the lack of backer help that they got in there. And you just got to keep them on their toes. And if you can keep the Rams out of the red zone, which is a hard thing to do if you them, especially with the way that the Rams offense is playing right now. Because you got to guard Puka, you got to guard Cooper, you got to guard whatever miscellaneous third wide receiver comes out of nowhere. And then you got to guard Kyron Williams, which is kind of he's been a surprise for them this season.
Shout out St. Louis.
For sure. He can catch it out the backfield a little bit. He can keep their offense off balance. He can pull them backers out of the box and make them flow towards the running back and leave the middle of the field open for Puka Nacua and any cornerback that Detroit got that they decide to leave on the island with Cooper Kupp, which I hope they don't do that. I honestly think the key for Detroit defense this week, they are going to have to play a great zone coverage. You're gonna have to run a lot of zone because you don't have the corners to man up with Puka or Cooper Kupp. No matter how injured you think Cooper Kupp is, I wish you would leave him on the island one-on-one. Yeah. He gonna leave Detroit with somebody ankles.
Yeah.
Boy,
go ahead, Ryan.
Is this ever a game Jared Goff ever wanted in his life?
Facts.
This is ever a game. And then not only does the team that you led to the Super Bowl trade you, they win.
Yeah.
So it's like now, motherfucker.
The following year, the year right at like they trade you to Detroit, who was like one of the worst teams in football, and then they win literally right after they trade
you. Then he had to relearn how to do the job he'd been doing his whole fucking life. and then now, after the heartbreak games last 2 years, now they ain't finally back in the playoffs. Man, look, bro. I'm just telling you, dog. If the offensive line shows up, I feel like Detroit has a good chance to win this game. I can't give you a score. This is gonna be a game I watch closely, extremely closely, because wow, you talk about fucking storylines. I mean, matchups make games, but storylines make it juicy, baby. So I'm gonna go Detroit, man. I think it's their time. I think they might be the Cinderella team. At least get to the NFC Championship game. I'm saying it now.
So I've battled a lot with this game simply because of all the emotions that's coming into it, the storyline that's behind it as well. So I'm definitely sure it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think you have two of the most dangerous offenses, whether you want to admit it or not. Both of these teams have a very high-powered, high-scoring offense. I think ultimately what's going to happen is simply because Detroit is at home. I think what's going to happen is the Rams are going to get the ball back and they're going to score. They're going to get, within field goal range or something. And because Detroit is at home, they're going to get a call that goes their way. Mm-hmm. That's honestly what I think is going to happen, because I don't think that this Detroit's secondary is doing anything they can scheme as much as they want. They can't fuck with this Rams offense. They really can't. Cooper Kupp's going off, doing this. Cooper Kupp is, he had a rough start to the season, but he's coming into his own. Puka Nakua's had a hell of a season as a rookie. And Kyron Williams burst into the scene. Nobody expected him to do what he's done. So I don't think Detroit is going to be able to do anything to contain this Rams offense. But the only thing they can do, they're gonna be just like the Chiefs was a couple years ago. We can't stop you, so we just gonna score with you. And because of that, like I said, I think the Rams will get the ball back, a couple minutes left, and they'll get in field goal range and get ready to score. And what's going to happen is ultimately they're gonna get a call. The Lions are some. They're gonna get a call that ultimately wins in the game. That's what I think is gonna happen. But before we get off this game, I gotta say, we gotta give a shout out to Matt Stafford, because it was always a question of when he got sent to the Rams, it was a question of whether he was a Hall of Famer or not. Matt Stafford is now responsible for two of the greatest wide receiver seasons of all time, and now the greatest rookie season as a wide receiver in the NFL. Puka Nacua broke the record for most receptions and most yards in the season as a rookie, as a wide receiver. And Matt Stafford is now responsible for the great season by Calvin Johnson, the great season by Cooper Kupp, and now this rookie season by Puka Nacua. So shouts out Matt Stafford.
True. What school did Puka go to?
I honestly don't know, bro. I'm being honest. I gotta go look it up.
Puka Nacua. I'm like, who the fuck is Puka? Why he catching him? What happened to Cup? I had so many questions in October, September.
What's going I ain't gonna lie. One thing I didn't mention, I forgot to mention.
How ironic, bro. He went to Washington.
He did go to Washington.
He went to Washington and BYU. That's where he went. Okay. He went to Washington and BYU.
I would have transferred out of BYU too.
I ain't gonna lie though. As long as Jared Goff can stay out of the turnover column, I feel like Detroit can win that game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I said this to Ryan, bro. Look, Detroit has not had a home playoff game in 30 years. I would hate to be the team going into Ford Field. Because you talking about a loyal, crazy fan base. No matter how bad the Lions have been, they fans have always showed up, and Ford Field is going to be a madhouse. It's like for Matt Stafford, it's like, okay, I played her, so I have nothing to be uncomfortable. I'm having nothing to be uncomfortable and scared about.
Like when Deion came back and played against the Falcons, and he scored on the punt return, the interception. This my shit. Yeah, so. I mean, you know, all them Detroit fans rooting for him when he got to the Super Bowl too.
Yeah.
The whole fan base is rooting for him. So this is going to be a great primetime matchup, and then now we have the Sooner Bowl.
Yes, sir. We have the next up last game of play.